Hello students, in the previous video we had discussed about subject and verb agreement, in which we have talked about the 9, 5 and 10 verbs which show present, past or future time, which the verbs we use for the present, past or future time. And we have done the use of 9 verbs in the present and the 5 in the past, and today we are going to discuss future time verbs, which I told you in the beginning, those are 10 verbs. So how we use future indefinite and how we identify the future continuous time, how we identify the future perfect time and future perfect continuous time. As if you remember, in present we identified with the help of verbs present indefinite, then present continuous, present perfect and present perfect continuous. Now in past we identified with the help of verbs like past indefinite, past continuous, past perfect and perfect continuous. So likewise you have understood how we identify the tense in a sentence and time in a sentence. So let's today see the future indefinite, how we identify the sentence is of future indefinite time, and the verbs which we use, 10 verbs for example, I tell you: shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must, need, dare, and these 2, 3 are the semi verbs, semi future time. And these 10 verbs, if you remember, I told these are called the modal verbs, means shows the mood. So that's why these are called modals, because when we talk about future, nothing is certain, as we say, and in general attitude we people say that future is unpredictable, anything anytime can happen with anyone. So that's why these are the modal verbs, and modal verbs means mood, means what you want to say about future time, that shows your mood. Sometimes you talk about possibility, sometimes you talk about probability, sometimes you talk about the determination, sometimes you talk about your willpower, sometimes you talk about your capability, sometimes you talk about your suggestion, and sometimes you talk about your advice, and sometimes you talk about any other notion or feeling or emotion, or you talk about your how you think about something in future. So I write here few examples of future time, like we use: I shall go to Jaipur. I shall go to Jaipur. We shall meet today. Okay. I shall be waiting for you, and They will be playing. They will be playing at they will be playing I shall, and sometimes we use will, shall or will, any one of these, shall, will, have, I shall or will have reached, or we will have been preparing for 2 months. Well, students, I have written here a few sentences for your understanding. Now see how we identify future indefinite time, future continuous time, future perfect time, and future perfect continuous time. If you remember, in the present and past indefinites, we identified these present and past with the help of verb that we use here. I shall go means we use the finite verb and non-finite verbs, if you remember. So here shall is finite. As I told you that the first verb in a sentence is always finite, and after that the verb comes that is always non-finite. So go is non-finite. So if you remember the 5 forms of verbs, if you have written in your notebook, you can check the 5 forms of verb. Go, present, go, goes, past, went, past participle, gone, present participle, going, and infinitive is again go, to go or go. So go. Sometimes students say that after shall, which form is this? Which form is this? And most of the time students are confused. They are made confused, and they say this is present form, or in very verbal way they say this is the first form. Never ever. This is not first form, I tell you. Must fit in your mind. This is not first form, or this is not present form. This is infinitive form. How? I told you this is not present. I told you present and past forms are finite. Present and past forms are finite, and finites are always used with the subject, or the first verb in a sentence is finite. So how can we say go is present form? How can we say go is first form? Never ever. Absolutely wrong if you say. Shall is present. Shall is present. Shall is finite. And go is no infinitive. You can call it the 5th form of verb. So infinitive, wherever we use infinitive, only infinitive, remember, only infinitive. that with the modal verb, or you can say these are modal verbs, these are finite verb, or this is the present form. Shall is present form, past form of shall is should. Like can is the present form, could is the past form, may is the present form, might is the past form, will is present form, would is the past form. So only present past tense, not a future tense. Future is time, not a tense. And these verbs, present and past verbs, we use to show, to make the sentences for future time. So this is finite, this is infinitive, means this is indefinite. So this verb shows future, this verb shows future. Shall indicates future time and go indicates indefinite. So this is future indefinite. Simple. So there can be can go, will go, we use for future, should go, may go, might go. All these can be used for future time. Now we shall meet today. Again shall and meet. Meet, this is not present form, this is not first form. Do not confuse. This is infinitive, present, past, PP, present participle, or infinitive, the fifth form. So this is again future indefinite, and I write here future indefinite, future indefinite. Well, now see, shall be waiting. Shall means future, time is showing future. Be, I tell you, with all the modal verbs, with all the modal verbs, do, does, or did. With these verbs directly we use infinitive form. After them infinitive is used. As I have told you, this is infinitive, this is infinitive, 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 infinitive. So with modal verbs we always use the infinitives. This is fixed. Nothing can be altered or changed in this form. So shall be infinitive, and then present progressive. Present progressive means present participle form. So students, now see, future indefinite, it makes indefinite, future indefinite, but now with be and waiting, when this is progressive form or continuous form, so it will be future continuous, future continuous, because you cannot separate this verb from modal verbs. This is combined. Modals cannot be used without infinitive. Without infinitive, modal forms do not have any existence in English language. You cannot use modal verbs, you cannot use future, these verbs, these 10 verbs without the help of infinitives. Like you can use go, I go. You can say I eat, I meet, I went, I did, you can use. I do, I did, you can use these verbs, but only you cannot use them in a complete sentence, that I shall. Yes, it can be answer, not a question. It's incomplete sentence. I shall is incomplete, or sometimes, in the question tags or responses we use, but those are not complete sentence. For making complete sentences with modal verbs, we need infinitives. Infinitives. So this is a fixed group. Shall be waiting means continuous. So future continuous time means the sentence is showing that some activity will be going on in future at some particular time. Well, so this is future continuous. Now they will be playing. They will be playing. Will, modal, be, infinitive. Playing means ing, means again the continuous. So this becomes future continuous. Now next, I and shall and will. And nowadays in modern English there has been made some changes in the use of earlier we used to practice shall with I and we, I or we use shall, but nowadays we use will also. So there's not big difference in shall and will nowadays. So any one of these you can use. I shall or will have reached. Now, shall have, will have. I told you modal verbs do not have any existence without infinitives. So, just after the modal verb, listen, just after the modal verb, you will always find infinitive form, not first form or present form. Remember, with modals, always just after the modal, you will always find infinitive. This be is infinitive, this meet is infinitive, go is infinitive, have is also infinitive. So, modal, have, infinitive, reached. This is past participle or perfect. This is perfect. This is progressive. This is perfect. So, how we identify future perfect time? Future perfect. So, future perfect. So, this became future perfect. Means some activity in future at some time must have completed tomorrow or any time from now in future, means that will have finished at some time. Okay, next is will have been preparing for 2 months. Let's identify. How we identify? See the modal verb will or have means modal plus infinitive, been. Been is past participle verb. Been is past participle verb. So we say it, you say perfect, you call it perfect. Perfect, and then there is preparing. This is present participle or present progressive. We call it continuous or progressive. So for 2 months time, this is time. So now future This is future perfect. I told you this is past perfect. Perfect, future perfect progressive, or future perfect continuous time. Future perfect continuous time. So students, this way we can identify the all three timings in future and in present and in past also. Now next thing, we use these future verbs shall, will. These are not only used for future time, I tell you. These verbs can be used for the present and past also. In the previous videos I told you, I explained few with the help of few sentences how we use these modal verbs for the present. Like you people come to class and you ask, may I come in? May I come in, sir? So what is that? Present time, but the verb is future. Verb is future, or you can say modal verb shall, or we say may I come in, means may. May is future in present form. However, we use may for future time, but in that sentence we are using that verb, modal verb, for the present time. So like that we can say I can do it. I can do it. It means that is present, but can is a modal verb. Can is a modal verb. So we say I can do it now. It means we use that verb for the present time. I could do. I could do when I was 10 years old. Means you could do any activity when you were 10 years old. It means you're talking about your past. So you use that modal verb, that future verb. We don't call them future verb, we call them modal verb, but we call use them for future time. So we use could. Could is past form. Could is past form, and we use for the past. But sometimes we can use past for the present. How? Could is past form, past tense. Could is past tense, but we use for the present time. When we make request, we use could for the present situation. Like, could you please help me? Could you please help me? You make a request. So what is that? The tense in the sentence means the form is past. Could is past form, but we use that form, the past form, for the present time. So we can use past forms for the present time. We can use the modal verbs for the future, present and past both, and we can use the present forms of verbs. Present forms of verbs or the present tense for the present time, and for the future time is also can be used. Like the shop is to open at 10 means khulne wali hai, or like the bus comes at this time means something is going to happen. So we use something is going to happen, means we are talking about future, but is verb shows present tense. So students, never mix the time and the tense. I have explained the three situations in the 3 times, but with the help of 2 tenses we make the use of 3 forms of these times. So once again I tell you that we can use the present time for the we can use the present tense for the present time, past time, future time. We can use the past tense for the present time, past time, future time, and the modal 10 verbs can be used for the present time, past time, and future time also. So this was your topic, subject and verb agreement, in that we have learned how to identify the tense or the time in the sentences. So I hope you have understood how we identified in the 3 videos we have done, present, past and future time, and I have told you how you can identify and how you can learn them, how you can understand them in the sentences. When you read, you can tell that this sentence, in this sentence there is present tense, in this sentence there is past tense, and in subcategories you even can tell that in this sentence there is present continuous or progressive tense, in this sentence past perfect tense. Everything very clearly you can tell and you can understand. So this was the basic structure of subject and verb agreement. We'll continue in detail one by one all the sentences with the use of tense and time in your next videos. By the time we are closing this topic today, thank you so much joining, and you revise all the 3 videos, present, past and future. So you can more understand, revise and repeat them and identify the sentences. And in your course reader, you try to identify the sentences, you try to identify the tense in the sentences, you try to identify the time in the sentences, so you can understand them more in a better way. Thank you so much.